Good evening and welcome to our continuing coverage of the celebration of Nigeria's 59 years of independence. Congratulations are in order, even though the narrative reverberating around the country today is that there's need for change to secure this nation. From our politics to the economy, human capital development, and power, there's a real need to reflect. So for the next couple of hours, just under 3 hours, at this belt of our coverage on Channels Television, we are reflecting on what it takes to secure the nation 59 years after October 1, 1960. Welcome. I'm Ladi Akiridoluale.
Thanks a lot, Ladi. I'm Ijoma Onyato. And of course, we're not going to be doing this reflection on the core issues alone. We have a seasoned panel of men and women who at one point or the other have been directly involved in the issues that we're highlighting tonight. So we'll be talking to them a bit later. We'll be getting their opinions. And we're going to start off with the president's broadcast when we do talk to them this morning. I think the address was about 25 minutes, like 25 minutes long. Indeed. To those who are interested in length of speeches, I think they had a bit of meat on their bones this time around. Remember how it caused a stir the last time. And the president had several talking points. Now remember that tonight's show is less about the present administration's scorecard and more about the task of securing the Nigerian nation 59 years after independence.
Indeed, the issues are diverse, even though they are always somehow related. But before we do all of that, we'll be checking in with our political correspondent, Seun Okinbaloye, who will give us a bit of analysis on the direction we're going to take for the next 45 minutes or so. Seun, how are you doing?
Thank you so much. I'm well. Happy 59th birthday to Nigeria. I guess that's perhaps proper to say on a day as this. 59 years, Ladi and Ijoma. What a journey it has been. The struggles, the triumphs, the hopes of a greater nation is worth celebrating, isn't it? But reflection is always good for us to move ahead. For those who were adults 59 years ago, maybe like Ladi and the rest, will probably say, how time flies. The story of our journey to independence cannot be complete without proper reference to the sacrifices and the hard work of notable nationalists, the likes of Chief Anthony Enahoro, one of those who moved emotion at a time, made the labor of our heroes past never be in vain. And today, as we look back to the times, we reflect on the ways to move forward. Let's take a look at some of the major issues that have defined these 59 years. Now, some of the faces you see right here on the screen are some of those who will remind you constantly, for those who are around 59 years ago, and for those who met the journey at some point. Very, very interesting. Those who have led Nigeria and some. So we try to put the history and the journey of Nigeria through these 59 years on a timeline. So from 1960, some of the key important elements of our journey, the independence of 1960 to the first military, let me tell you about the 1963 republic, where Nigeria officially became a republic in 1963, and the first military coup in 1966, second republic from 1979 to 1983. Of course, the military rule ran for several years from 1966 to 79. After the second republic, there was an interruption, another military coup, which happened in 1983, and it ended at about 93. There was a short-lived third republic, and at that point again, another military rule from 1993 to 1999, and now from 1999 up to when we're talking 2019, 20 years on, the Fourth Republic has lived on. And so let's take a look at how these have been from the military rule. I tried to give you a sense of how many years the military had ruled Nigeria and when we've had the civilians in power. 29 years if you put them in total. Don't forget a timeline and look at them, how it has been. The military guys have been in proper helm of affairs of Nigeria for 29 years, and for 30 years now, the civilian have also ruled Nigeria. Let's go forward and take a look at the faces. So we've tried to put about 13 or 12 of those who have led Nigeria at some point or the other through these 59 years and put them in perspective, giving you an idea of those who have ruled the most and those who have ruled the least. From Olusegun Obasanjo, the man who has been privileged to rule Nigeria for 11 years and 258 days, 3 years as a military head of government and 8 years as a civilian president in Nigeria, followed by Yakubu Gowon, has probably spent more time after Olusegun Obasanjo as the leader of this country. He spent 8 years, 362 days. Don't forget the man is with the popular acronym, Go On With One Nation. So if you look, the blame Badamasi Babangida, the man who also orchestrated what would have been a proper Third Republic, but was short-lived, 7 years, 364 days, Muhammadu Buhari, 5 years so far. Don't forget, 1 year, 239 days as military ruler before this man took over from him, and is still in office, hoping to spend 2 terms of 8 years. Now, Goodluck Jonathan spent 5 years, 225 days. Sani Abacha, 4 years, 203 days. Shehu Shugari, 4 years, 91 days before the military came with a coup and removed that government. Umaru Musa Yar'Adua unfortunately died in office, 2 years, 341 days. And Nnamdi Azikiwe, the man that you always refer to as one of the pioneers of the ruling in Nigeria since independence, Abdulsalami Abubakar, the man who midwifed the Fourth Republic, 355 days, and Murtala Muhammad, who was also assassinated in office, 199 days. Johnson Aguiyi Ironsi, 194 days. You remember him in the early 1960s. And also we have Ernest Shonekan, the head of the interim government at that time, 83 days. That was how much he spent. So we take a look at some of those things the president said today, which will form some of those things we'll be analyzing on the program. Don't forget, we're looking at where we're coming from, where we are, and where we are headed. Let me allow you to take a listen to what President Muhammadu Buhari said earlier today, 7 a.m., when he addressed the nation on the national broadcast. Take a listen to some sound bites of his speech.
The P and ID Arbitral Award has underscored the manner in which significant economic damage has been caused by the past activities of a few corrupt and unpatriotic Nigerians. The blight of corruption is fighting back. Nevertheless, this is a battle that we shall see through, and this is a war which we shall win by the grace of God. Learning from the mistakes of the past, this administration is committed to responsibly managing our oil wells endowments. We will continue to prudently save our oil income and invest more in the non-oil job-creating sectors. In this regard, we are significantly increasing investment in critical infrastructure. This change can only be delivered if we are united in purpose as individuals and as a nation. We must all remain committed to achieving this positive and enduring change. As I stated 4 years ago, change does not just happen. We must change our lawless habits, our attitude to public office, and public trust.